Scott and Arbor, they've announced details about SummerSlam.
Jake Lloyd Bacon, that's right. They've announced that SummerSlam will be 2 nights and in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Fantastic.
You've been to Minneapolis, right?
I have, actually. Yes, once.
What does one do in Minneapolis?
Well, in my case, rent a car at the airport and then drive out of Minneapolis.
WWE SummerSlam, 2 nights and more this week on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hi, Scott and Arbor.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
It's time for the old Palskis program. Thanks to those.
Oh, it's old at this point. That's right.
Thanks to those listening and all of your favorite podcast players. I would say thanks to those joining us live for the super exclusive Patreon-only live stream. But we just sort of surprise went live right now without doing any announcing or letting people know ahead of time. So no one's here currently. So it'll take a couple minutes before anybody files in. But thanks in hindsight for joining us. When you listen back to this, I assume the people who watch it also then listen to the show because they want to hear all the shit that we fucked up on that was edited out. They want to be like, oh yeah, they edited that part where they all screwed everything up.
Right. Oh, there was no audio recording for that one of them that time. Oh yeah, look at them scrambling.
Yeah. So everybody listens to the show at least 2, if not 3 or 4 times every episode. So I'm going to thank those people for joining us now because I'm assuming they're listening now after the fact. They've already watched.
Right.
So
when our show's in Braille, that's when it gets real good.
Yeah.
You think those Tamina bits are funny now? You check them out in Braille. It's good shit.
I mean, people are, I'm bombarded with stuff for Dragon Wagon Radio emails for services for podcasters, like, because we're just like, people search for podcasts and networks, and it's always like an automated email thing. And we are bombarded with stuff that's like transcripts for your podcasts. Like, we'll do transcripts for your show. And I'm just imagining if it's not an AI, it's all AI. And I'm like, yeah, we could do transcripts because you could just play something and have, Adobe automatically learn what you're saying. I like to think that it's an actual person doing the transcribing, in which case we should just to see them torture getting through, any episode with me on it.
I hired somebody. Did I tell you that?
No, who is it?
I hired a transcriber.
Oh, yeah? Who was it?
Scripts.
Oh, he's writing a lot of scripts.
WWE NXT superstar. But we had to spell his name different, so that way we don't get sued.
Oh, I was going to ask if he's been replacing all the I's with Y's in the transcript.
No, the Y stays, but now it's scripts. It's with Z's.
Got it. That tracks.
And no C, a K.
Well, speaking of no C's or K's, neither of those letters are in the name of our current PWP world champ, Gilbert Short, a.k.a. Goliathon. We can't go any further in the program without acknowledging current PWP champion. If you would like to challenge for that title, you've got to become a championship level Palski over at patreon.com/PWPalskis. That's patreon.com/PWPalskis. Become a championship Palski, and you are entered into the monthly championship battle royal, which will happen on next week's program. So you got to get in there. You can't win it if you don't play. That's what they say about Lotto.
Yep. If you don't shoot the Lotto, you can't take any shots.
Technically, this is gambling. Like, people are gambling because they're paying money to win.
We're a couple of draft kings, we are.
Oh, we are. Just a couple of. And by that, you mean we're both very good at the car, like at drafting and motor vehicles, right?
Drifting?
Oh, no. Oh, drafting
Someone's
is when
not from Tokyo.
Drafting is when you're behind the person and then you do a
Sorry,
slingshot.
They didn't make a Fast and Furious about it. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, they definitely drafted in Fast and Furious a couple times because you get up really
It's
close
not in
to
the
truck.
title.
Oh, they don't have a Fast and the Furious Hiroshima draft.
Nope.
No.
So I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, you get all
Everything
your knowledge.
I learned from Fast and Furious titles.
And that's why you know wrestling, because there's so many wrestlers in those that do wrestling moves. Yeah.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Hey, speaking of Kings, we had a lot of events over the weekend. This past weekend, we had WWE King & Queen of the Ring. Plus, we also had AEW Double or Nothing. Did you watch any of this?
I watched a little bit of King of the Ring.
Whoa, shots fired.
I watched
No Queen?
I watched Gangrel come up from underneath the ring, and that was about it.
Was that in your backyard, or was that?
It was, yeah, I have a ring in my bedroom, actually. He was just
Nice.
He popped up out of it. He didn't even like completely emerge. He just stuck his head out like a gopher. And then it was like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong place. So sorry, guys. Go about your business. And then he went down, and then he popped up moments.
Vampire.
Moments later, he popped up in the ring in Double or Nothing. So, wow, fucking magic, man!
What a
Absolute
showman!
Fucking magic! What a showman! I feel like I'm so short right now. And this,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, why do I look like I'm so much lower in the screen? Is my chair too low?
It's your spirit.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah. Is that better? Am I like a grown up now? There we go. Now I look like the height that I. Now I look like the height that I usually am. Well, I'm not a grown up, but at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're not mutually exclusive. So Gangrel.
Yeah.
Was that good? Was that exciting? Was that a? How was that?
I didn't have any feelings towards it. It was like, oh, cool, Gangrel.
Good. It's good for a podcast. Good.
Yeah.
And then
this is why I don't like talking about AEW anymore, because I don't have any emotions towards it. Yeah, no, it's I was excited after hearing how much Edge wanted him at that Mania match. I was like, oh, it's nice to see that he still got to play with his friend. It was really funny watching all the like the smarks online be like, oh my gosh, they called him Gangrel. Tony really dropped a ton of money to get the rights to Gangrel. And I was like, yeah, I think he owns all that. And isn't that like one of the most renowned cases of a wrestler owning all of his own shit ever? Like,
or nobody cares.
Right.
Rarely is he his name.
Hedwig? Hedwig in the
I don't
Ranch?
think it's that.
Isn't
no,
that like
that's
Hellwig?
That's a warrior.
Am I confusing a wrestler? Oh, right. I'm confusing the two mysterious magical creatures. Gangrel. What is his name?
We'll say Heath.
Heath. Yeah, David William Heath.
Yeah, I feel like for the majority of wrestling appearances he does, he's Gangrel.
Yes, 100%. Because I'm pretty sure he owns it. I thought that was like kind of a big deal. It's why like even in the WWE Encyclopedia, when it says Gangrel, it has that they don't own it. It says like trademark, licensed care of David William Heath or something.
Either way, like, yeah. And if you wanted to buy someone's name from the 90s, I don't think that'd be a lot of coin.
Right.
I think that'd be very little
like, man,
coin.
Tony.
Did he have the song?
Tony Khan dropped a lot of coin for Kurgan. You know, it was so hard to get that Kurgan trademark.
That dude's busy making good movies.
They called him Kurgan too.
Leave Kurgan alone.
I don't know if they had music. I don't know if he had the music. I didn't.
Okay.
I couldn't hear it.
Probably not. So you saw that, and then you saw King and Queen of the Ring.
No, I didn't see the Queen match. I saw the women's title match.
Which one?
And were there two? Shit, I don't know. I saw the Becky Liv. I saw Liv beat Becky. And then I saw the
Spoilers.
The spoilers, yes. Fuck, I'm struggling to remember. Oh, and then I saw Cody versus Paul. I couldn't remember what the fucking main event was.
It's Triple H era. There's only like 4 matches per show. Get it together.
Yeah, I was, I just keep saying pleasantly surprised. I think that I need to let go of the fact that Paul is a good wrestler. That like I don't know why I keep being surprised that he's putting on good matches. Like for my personal thoughts on the person aside, like he puts on very good matches and he's got good chemistry with a lot of people and he's good at what he does. So I keep saying, oh, to my surprise, that was a great match, but I don't know why I'm saying that because
he's an athletic, obnoxious shit.
Yeah.
He's good for wrestling.
100%. And that was a fun match. I didn't know, sorry to cut you off. I didn't know that the US title wasn't on the line. I thought, and maybe it's because I read shit online of people that were posting stuff that they themselves weren't informed and just assumed. But I saw people posting like, oh, I can't believe they're merging the US title into that. They're absorbing that title. And everybody was speculating on their plans for the new secondary title that was going to be announced. Like they were going to retire the US or something like that. And so I just assumed. And then when Cody won and it was like just his championship, no mention of the US title at all. I went, oh, okay. Everybody was just wrong.
They had a whole SmackDown about it.
Did they?
Yeah. It's part of the contract signing and lawyers and grifting and shady shit. And then, my title's not on the line. I showed you, Cody.
Oh, I missed all of that.
I saw WWE King and Queen of the Ring, and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I was a little bummed there was no media scrum afterwards because that would have been fun. Triple H doesn't put on the best face when people were talking in other languages.
If there's anything they're not going to do in Saudi Arabia, it's have press and journalists. Not a fan.
Well, there is no wrestling press.
Yeah, well, not anymore. They went to fucking Saudi.
You couldn't cut Meltzer's head off if you tried.
Why not? Is it too dense? His neck is too thick.
It's too much crust on that head of his. It's got a crusty head.
Got a crusty head.
Yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. I thought it was better than the French one because the crowd didn't take over. So
yeah,
I was all for that.
You hate crowds that enjoy themselves at the expense of your beloved home entertainment.
Yeah, I hate when the audience is the show and not the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's awful. But yeah, it was fun. And we have new kings and queens.
I don't even think I know who the queen was. I don't even think I realized who won that. Oh, I saw. Oh, is Nia.
Yeah, Queen Nia Jax and King Gunther.
Yeah. I did see Gunther's promo on, was it Raw, with Damian Priest that was interrupted by Drew, that was interrupted by 7 other people or something like that. But man, Gunther's like, I think at this point, now that they're kind of playing Damian as like a tweener, I don't know if his promos were ever exceptional, but I think we're really highlighting the weaknesses in whatever they're doing right now with Damian, because Gunther.
We just love the sound of his voice.
Is that what it is? Because in that match, in that promo, I just kept thinking like, oh, put the title on Gunther. God, this guy's just gotten so good so quickly.
Yeah, it's probably gonna happen.
Yeah. Summerslam.
Well, we got some breaking news, Jake.
Breaking right now?
And by breaking, I mean it's gonna break you.
Uh-oh. I've had enough of that. You're gonna be
so excited.
I've had enough of that the last couple of weeks.
AEW Fight Forever will be free for PlayStation Plus subscribers starting June 4th.
Does that mean it's going to be one of the June games, or that it's being added to the game collection?
I don't know. I don't have PlayStation Plus.
He just made a shrug emoji. Okay.
I don't think I made a shrug emoji.
Yeah.
I made a shrug.
I meant to say
I did what a human does.
What's that?
You
now?
found to be what an emoji is.
I don't understand.
Careful, I'll show you my eggplant.
I don't understand the etymology of the EMO part of emoji. I assume that it's just some silly Japanese word. Well, that's exciting for those people who care. I don't think I'm gonna bother.
Why?
Maybe I'll download it for a match and just to see.
Why not just play it? Why not play a game and enjoy it a little bit when it's free?
Well, it's not free because you pay for PlayStation Plus.
It's a functional game.
If it's one of the free monthly games, I'll definitely add it to the library for sure. So that way I just have it there. And then when I'm back on the other coast, we can live stream matches with it between you and me where we hit each other with bicycles.
Then you better get good.
Why, you really good at it?
I'm certainly better than you.
You know what? You're right. I believe that.
And, who knows? Maybe soon they're going to add a flamethrower to it because that's a thing now.
I did see that clip on social media and I thought, can we stop with fire in wrestling?
This is different.
I don't know. Have you ever really been fulfilled by fire in wrestling?
This is extremely different than any other fire in wrestling.
Because they successfully lit an actual dude and did like the proper stunt?
No, they used a flamethrower for one.
That's true. That's a good point. Good point.
That's a little different than, flash paper,
right?
Lighter fluid on an inanimate object and the person propelling themselves toward it. It's how we use a device that throws flame. And we're going to have to put all the flame retardant stuff on Jungle Boy, I think it was. They just kind of all look the same at this point. And he's coming out there all gelled up and then, light him on fire. That's very different.
It is different. You're right. It is like doing
that's budget.
It's like doing the Universal Studios stunt show style. Yeah.
And that could be Christopher Daniels. He plays that role, for God's sakes.
True, he does.
I don't know if he does the fire stunt, but he plays the Dennis Hopper role in the Universal Studios show.
Listen. Yeah, he did that with my former roommate. Shout out to Jay Huerta, who's also a wrestler for a while. He also did a bunch of the motion capture for WWE 2K24. So a lot of that stuff, it's not really the wrestlers. It's just my old roommate pretending to be those wrestlers. It's all a lie.
What? He's Natalia?
Yeah. Yep, he's Natalia.
Cool.
They're like, hey, okay, Jay, what we're going to do is we're going to have you do a complete 360 spin and then stop completely and then throw a clothesline. Can we do that? And he was like, oh, you mean Natalia? And they're like, oh, shit, he knew. Okay, we thought we were being subversive, but he knew exactly what we were talking about.
He knew. Other news that might break your heart that is because Ruby Soho and Angelo Parker,
calling it quits,
who are expecting their first child, have gotten married.
Oh, I thought they were good. And they have decided to call it quits. They're going to raise the child as friends. Oh, they got married.
Angelo Parker's been scooped up, buddy. It's all over.
Well, listen, you win some, you lose some.
You can still get that. You get Matt Maynard.
By the way, AEW Fight Forever is one of the free monthly games, so it's the better version versus just having the ones that that are just in the library, which could disappear at any given point in time. And the other two games, by the way, are Streets of Rage 4 and SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake. So I think these three games complement each other very well for next month.
This is the tops. Streets of Rage 4 is one of the best games ever. I played it so many times. And any game with SpongeBob SquarePants is a winner. You might have to... PlayStation Plus just might end after this.
What more can you do?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Well, that'll be fun. I will be adding that to the labor.
Some great news. WWE's Big E cast as a guest star in Peacock comedy series Laid.
I like this. I like him acting. He's very good. He's very funny. He's very charming. Why not?
I think he's a great fit for this. Do you want to know about some of the people involved in this series?
Yeah. Is there any more information?
Do you know about Laid?
No, it's the first I'm hearing about it.
Stephanie Sue, who received an Oscar nomination for a role in Everything Everywhere All at Once, is an executive producer on the project. She will also lead a cast that includes Josiah Mamet from The Flight Attendant,
right?
Michael Angarano from Oppenheimer, and Tommy Martinez from Good Trouble.
Okay.
Nahnatchka Khan will serve as executive producer and writer on the project. She's worked on Young Rock, as well as American Dad, Fresh Out the Boat, and Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Does it say whether this is what the content of the show is? Is it a drama? Is it a comedy? I just assume it was a comedy.
It's a comedy series on Peacock.
That's great.
Which is where WWE stuff is.
Oh my God.
And that's Big E.
So now if you search for Big E, it'll come up both WWE and that one show.
No, it won't show up for WWE.
It'll also,
that's what Peacock does. You search for wrestlers and it doesn't show any of their stuff. Like it'll show them on the Tonight Show or some shit.
Sure, of course. It'll show him
It'll
show him and his buddies trying to escape an old Republican man's house.
That's Netflix.
Oh, right. Sorry, wrong service. I completely forgot. I just assumed that was Netflix. I mean, assumed it was Peacock. Tamina.
An inter-promotional match for the NXT Women's Championship is set for NXT Battleground. After Roxanne Perez asked Ava, who is set to face at next week's Premium Live event at the UFC Apex, TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace came out. The fans chanted TNA, and she said she would walk out as double champion. So Jordynne Grace getting the call again.
Yeah, they're fans. And I get it. She's fantastic. This is fun, but it's a slippery slope because I see it and I go, it's new here, which is why it's like you get the pass, do something new, exciting, but I don't want NXT to just turn into AEW where it's like we've got 5 different companies champions on the show and they're all a world champion and they all kind of mean a little bit less because everybody's walking around with the top belt of some sort. And it's, you just got to, in moderation is all I'm asking.
Isn't this moderation though? Who else?
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is fun because it's the first time they're doing something like this in NXT. I'm getting ahead of myself by saying, let's just not make it a habit.
You telling Shawn Michaels what to do right now?
I'm saying Shawn
Your
Michaels
favorite?
has a history of habit forming behaviors. And I'm afraid
I think he only did Playgirl once.
I don't want him to get to abuse this forbidden door.
Can we get Shawn Michaels to sign up to do Playgirl again now? Can we do like a
Where are they now?
Yeah, where are they now? And what are they wearing?
Yeah, do they do like what's the like nudie mag version of like the gimmick battle royale where it's like hey, here are some playmates, the playmates of yesteryear. It's just like a bunch of little ladies all together at a pool party.
Outhouse?
What is that?
It's a knockoff of Penthouse.
Okay.
That's they'll do the older stuff.
Yeah,
Outhouse.
But Penthouse
where the
is
roosters go.
I was trying to keep it classy. I feel like Penthouse is a little more of a raunchy magazine.
Yeah, that's why it's a knockoff.
Okay. All right. I understand.
It's totally different.
Completely different.
They deal with the old folks. Think he's got the lazy eye. You think he's got a lazy ball?
I mean, are your balls not, I feel like everybody's balls are lazy. Are your balls not lazy? I definitely have one that goes in the other direction. That hangs a little lower. I don't think balls
goes
are
back,
I don't
goes
think
backwards.
Anybody's balls are unison. No, it goes upwards.
Well, I'll check the tape. I don't think Seth Rollins is too bad.
You were like,
seems to be all
I
right.
thought you were referring to mine. You're like, I'll check the tape. I was like, shit. I didn't know if we were talking about that
Those
on
are the
air.
archives.
I didn't realize
different.
we were talking about that on air, Scott Narver. I thought those were between you and me.
Well, that's not all that NXT has in store for their viewers. Ethan Page debuts at the end of the show. He attacked Trick Williams on the latest episode of NXT. So Ethan Page is there now.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of those people who we saw, or I saw a lot of, I don't know, a few years ago, probably like during the beginning of AEW. And I know that, is it Jason Alexander? No, what the fuck is the name? Jason Alexander.
Yeah, Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander and him are a tag team.
From Seinfeld.
Yeah, him. Yeah, and he walks in.
George Costanza.
Yeah. And he goes like, I asked for a title shot. They said, no shot. No shot, Jerry.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? What was his old tag team partner's name? He was a guest on the
Scorpio
program.
Sky?
No, maybe it was before then. I'm pretty sure he was a guest on the program.
Nick Nemeth?
No, never mind. Okay. Anyways, I was going to say I haven't seen a lot of this guy. I feel like I saw a little bit of him at that point when he was kind of more on my radar because of the history of this program. And then I have not seen what he's been doing since. So I'm excited that people are excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.
Yeah, we said the news a couple of weeks ago how his contract was ending and how he wanted to leave before that. And looks like he found himself a good little project. So we'll see what happens with that. If he's a good fit.
Right.
I think they need something like that right now because they got a lot of. I think the majority of NXT talent is basically like fresh slates.
It's like
young athletes,
new performance center folks. There's not a lot of like the indie darlings as it was a few years ago, where it was a mixture of both.
Yeah, I've been wrestling for 10, 15 years, and this is now my break. So,
right.
I think it's worth mentioning that Against All Odds will stream on TNA Plus on Friday, June 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. They've announced 3 title matchups. So things have been changing in TNA constantly, mind you, but I was curious about this one because now, since the last pay-per-view that was Broken Matt Hardy debuted, they were teasing something big, but they didn't say what it was. The buy rates were incredibly low and on traditional pay-per-view. But this one they've been advertising, you can get it with TNA Plus.
Okay.
And I looked at the price scheme online because I was like, all right, I've been curious about how to watch TNA again.
Right.
TV wise, I don't have access to it, and there's a bunch of options and stuff. I think you can watch it on TNA Plus later, but TNA Plus $9.99 a month, and then they just jump the shark with, or you can buy it for a year and spend like $200.
Wait a minute, that math doesn't work out.
It's pretty crazy when you look at what it says online.
You can get $10 a month. So $120 $120 a year monthly, or $200 a year if you pay it all at once. They're like reverse Costcoing this.
See if I can bring it up again here. See if I can find it. Oh, come on. How did I find it before?
I don't know.
Events and tickets. Subscribe to TNA Plus. Here we go. Watch. I wish you could see my screen. You could click subscribe to TNA Plus.
You could click share screen, then I can see it if you'd like to.
It's on a different computer. I'm doing it on.
Got it.
There was an error accessing this video. Well, that's not helpful.
Wait, was that
right?
The ad for the streaming service won't play?
Well, there's a bunch of places to click, and one of them is just the button of like subscribe to TNA Plus. I clicked on that and it brought that up. So I tried others. So here we go. Recurring subscriptions. Choose a license below. Special attraction monthly, $10 a month. Sorry, $9.99 a month. Includes access to full content library, digital first content, all exclusive live specials, including Against All Odds on June 14th. So I don't know if they don't make it clear if all live events include, if they're all pay-per-views or pay-per-views are separate, and there could be something like a Slammiversary and that's $50. I don't know.
Right.
So that's something I do not know about.
It's not quite it's not quite the old WWE Network model where it's like everything is uniform regardless.
Yeah. So then there's $95.99 a year. That's the special attraction annual. It includes access to full content library, digital first content, all exclusive live specials, including Against All Odds on June 14th. So you're just paying for the year. Then there's World Champion Annual. That is $219.99 a year.
Okay. And how much more do you get for that bread?
With that, same 3 things. All live pay-per-view events. Here we go. All live pay-per-view events, including Slammiversary on July 20th.
Wait, so what's the price gap? I missed the exact cost of the middle tier. What's the price gap?
Middle tier is $95.99.
So Slammiversary is $125.
Apparently that and maybe one more show. I don't know. They don't say how many there are. So that's confusing.
That is super bad marketing. That is capitalism gone awry.
I think maybe they're $40 because it's also advertising and buy Slammiversary for $39.99. The other great part about this is I might have to just send you the link to this. So it says choose a license below. And then I went, oh, is license spelled another way in maybe England or something like that?
They misspelled the word license. Did they put it with an S instead of a C?
Not in the top part.
Okay.
But when you select license, when you're actually like putting money towards it and going like, what license will you get? That's when it's misspelled.
Let's all get on the same page here. License. Like that's how it's supposed to be spelled? Because now I'm second guessing my own ability to spell the word license. Okay. So we're all
sure,
agreeing.
but you're just picturing it in your head.
Yes.
You didn't write it down with a computer going, that's incorrect.
Right. Right.
Red little
they
squiggly line.
ignored the squiggly line. The squiggly line of shame.
So yeah, then when you were actually putting money down and selecting the license that's going to get you this content, that's when they misspell it. That's when they really wrestling grift you here.
Right.
LICENCE.
Got it. Maybe it's the Italian. It's Licench.
Oh, select Licenze.
Licenze.
Oh, Enzo Amore's in charge of this bullshit.
Why him? So it could be Santino.
Oh, that's true, I guess. So, when you try and go back and you go, I'll give it a shot, and then you see shit like this, go, this gives me no faith whatsoever.
Okay. It does.
But for $10 on a Friday night, I might do that. And here's what the card is so far. TNA World Champion defends his title against Broken Matt Hardy. Seems interesting.
Yeah.
TNA X Division Champion Mustafa Ali defends against Trent Seven.
That's I like that matchup. Like as far as two guys who are both really like wrestler wise.
And then a match with some up and comers. TNA Tag Team Champions Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards defend against Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth.
Okay, so the Hollywood Hunks, the Hollywood Bros, whatever the hell they're called now, versus it was one of the
Brian
edge
Myers.
Heads. Yeah, one of the edge heads. What was his name?
Not Zack Ryder, your favorite.
Yes, oh my god, I'm
your second
Hawkins,
favorite.
Hawkins. I couldn't remember the name. Hawkins and who was the other person?
Eddie Edwards.
Eddie Edwards. Okay.
Dude who's been there forever, kind of turned into Time and Dreamer there for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you've got an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and do this one. I might watch this pay-per-view for $9.99 and select my license.
And will I be able to use your login so that I can watch after the fact?
I don't know.
Right.
I'll give it.
Listen.
I'll give you the login. Will it work?
Right.
No fucking clue.
In fairness, I think when the Impact app, because we had that for a little while, because we were like, oh, we'll use it for watch-alongs. And it was really impressive when it first started. It was like organized well. It was clear. It was, they had a ton of stuff. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is clean. It was missing some of the bells and whistles that the old WWE Network had as far as like searchability, and the old WWE Network was pretty well done with the chapters and stuff like that. But ultimately,
you had to know what you were looking for overall if you were going specifics, but everything was there and was labeled very clearly. Like
organized.
If you wanted all of the pay-per-views, it's all the pay-per-views. If you wanted the weekly show,
Slammiversaries, and exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer to hear though that like it seems like maybe things are a little bit less sleek and professional than they were. But also you'll see because you don't actually have the thing open. Maybe when you open it, everything is awesome.
Could be.
And
and then I'll figure out what devices it works on.
I was going to say, is it a Roku app?
Don't know. I'll take a look at that as you ask me.
I can do it right now.
Many questions about it.
I got my Roku up right now. I can go right to search and I can type. Wait, what are you laughing at?
There's a thing on their website just in the upper right-hand corner there's the little speaker insignia.
Yeah.
And it says TNA, TNA, TNA. And you click on it, and it's fans chanting TNA.
That's pretty good.
Next to it is the search, and next to it is support.
Pretty good.
So what's their support? Oh, it's support. I thought it was like they had their own Patreon or some shit. It's problems, or they're also talking about how the subscription service works and
got it.
What you get, what you don't get. Diners Club card is mentioned in here.
There we go. So I see the app here on Roku, and there's little screen grabs of the app, and it looks exactly like Peacock. It looks almost identical to Peacock in the screen grabs.
So let's see here. Can I watch multiple devices at once? No.
Oh, but not at
Your
once.
TNA Plus membership allows you to watch video content on one device at a time. You can have multiple login sessions open simultaneously, but will not be able to watch multiple videos at the same time.
Okay, so we can't do watch-alongs together, but I can watch a pay-per-view after you, and we can talk about it if we need to for the program.
Yeah, but if that's how I was going to keep this thing, was for fucking watch-alongs.
Yeah, no, I know. Listen.
Well, that ain't going to happen now. TNA Plus. I mean, TNAT.
TNAT.
Well, that sucks.
We'll need to get some more patrons to pay for it, so I can have my own. Because I'm not coughing it up.
Let's see here. We'll skip around a little bit because we've been enjoying ourselves and talking about stuff. So, WWE announced that the biggest event of the summer, Summerslam, will take place over 2 nights in 2026. The event will take place at US Bank Stadium, home of the Minnesota Vikings, on August 1st and 2nd, 2026. You going?
Of course not. I don't.
You're halfway there.
I don't like the 2-night thing bleeding into other pay-per-views, especially this one. Somebody did say something on our Discord, which, by the way, if you're listening and you're still not in the Discord, come on, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's so fun. Lots
You'll
of people.
be quoted, sort of, by Jake.
Yeah.
No credit given.
Which was, of all of the pay-per-views that make sense to do 2 nights, really the only one is the Royal Rumble, because you have 2 Royal Rumble matches, which are both an hour long each, minimum.
Yeah.
And so while I dislike the 2-night format generally, if it's going to spread, why jump to SummerSlam and not to the one where you're already struggling to book it well, as far as make the evening enjoyable for everybody?
Yeah, and it also feels like very telling that they're not going to have Rock for SummerSlam because our king and queen are getting title shots. So to me, it feels like potentially Gunther is going to fight Cody, because they did say you get to choose whichever champion you want.
Well, I mean, I feel like unless they're swerving, it seems like he's going to pick Priest.
He's an AEW
because of their strict. It seems like they've already set up that he's going after Priest on Raw, but maybe that is a mistake.
Wait, because he talked to him?
Yeah, he hung out with him. They hung out.
But he's fought Cody too at the Rumble.
It's true.
I think they're going to tease that too, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
They got time.
They do got time, yeah.
They had set it up where it's you can challenge whatever champion you want.
But this upcoming one isn't 2 nights. The 2025 one is 2 nights.
Right.
So
2026.
2026. Oh, we're way the fuck out there.
Yeah, so you going?
I mean, sure. I'll just say yes.
That's where you can meet Jake Lloyd Bacon, everybody, in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I'll be there.
Signings. We'll be there doing a live show, grilling with JR.
Oh man, if I still need to get some more of that seasoning, JR's seasoning.
Better hurry up.
Real good. Why? You think if he dies, then they're going to stop selling his stuff?
He's not doing so good.
That's
top
why I just said that.
Well, I don't think you want the next batch of seasonings if he passes away, because those will just be his ashes.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be tasty, but still gross. we have a lot of contracts expiring. These are all the ones I amassed so far as of this that I found out that are like in this past 2 weeks. And there could be more. I was trying to do a deep dive, but there was a lot. So first off, Becky Lynch's WWE contract is expiring and she's expected to take time off. That's why there was a kind of an odd change in the story where, you know, Rhea Ripley gets injured, forfeits the title. Becky Lynch wins it in a fucking battle royal, but then immediately loses it in Saudi to Liv Morgan. And she put out a tweet with her walking away. Becky Lynch did, and then saying to be continued. So I got to imagine that it's sooner time off with her and not going like, I'm going to go shop around.
No, she's not going anywhere.
Mercedes Moné is over in that other company and she has a title I don't know anything about and I want it.
I don't mean this in quality or legacy. Especially because I know that you'll cringe, but I think that her husband and now by extension her are like the new Taker. Like they are not going anywhere. They are diehard WWE people, in my opinion. I can't imagine.
Why wouldn't you pitch Shawn Michaels or anybody else that didn't leave?
Because I feel like Taker like never even. I don't know.
So
I feel
she's
like that's the guy that I go
cool?
to. But I go to the guy who's like, yeah, no,
Triple H.
Yeah, sure, but he's a boss now, so it doesn't count.
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, like he's always talking about wanting to work with indie guys, and Taker never gave a fuck.
No, he meant Indy Hartwell.
Oh, gotcha. All right, sure. Yes, there's plenty of other fucking people to say then. Regardless,
that never left.
I don't think that they're going anywhere. I think they are like true WWE. I think you'll see Roman in another company before you'll see either of those two.
There you have it. Jake laid it down. Speaking of Jake's, Jake Hager's AEW contract has expired. You think Jericho's going to let his good buddy go?
I mean, Jack Swagger returning to the WWE, baby. The lines
it seems like,
out the door for those tickets.
I don't think he was doing MMA anymore. I don't know if it was a thing of time or what, or if he had trouble doing both. I have not heard any reports of like he's looking to do that again. I don't know if anybody's trying to get him for a podcast or not. I know we're not.
I honestly, so, we have a one Jake rule. Unless Roberts returns our phone calls, in which case, well, actually, we still have the rule. I'm just out. Honestly, I just feel like
you're gone.
I never disliked him. I wasn't those people who disliked Jack Swagger back in the day, and I didn't dislike Jake Hager. I never had any strong feelings towards him either way, which is bad. He was always just kind of there. And I think, you know, he put on good matches. He had a couple good programs in WWE back in the day. I don't remember much of his early AEW stuff. I know the Inner Circle.
He was there from the first episode of Dynamite.
I know. And I remember the outfit.
He made his debut.
But I can't remember a specific one-on-one program. I just remember him being in the Inner Circle and doing Inner Circle stuff. But I don't have any strong recollection of like, he had a great feud with this person.
Yeah, because that's true.
Yeah.
But that's not all. Wait. Mark Henry confirms on his show, quote, I am not going to be renewing my deal.
Gosh.
So Henry said it was a mutual thing, and he's ending his time with AEW on a positive note. He had a great experience in AEW, but it feels like it's time to focus on other projects. He doesn't say what exactly, but he talks up Tony Khan. Again, all the positivity, but makes it very clear that as of when he spoke about this was on the 27th, and he said on the 28th it expires, and that he's going to be done.
That was yesterday at time of recording, yeah. So as of right now, he's no longer an AEW employee.
And that's not all.
Jeez Louise. So far, we've got Becky gone from WWE, and we've got Hagar and Henry and Hagar gone from AEW. So we got 2 gone from AEW, 1 gone from WWE. I'm going to keep a tally.
Any guesses?
of who the person is that's not renewing a contract?
Yeah, we're a couple of DraftKings here. You want to place a bet?
Can I at least have the company?
Well, I'm going in a row here, so
AEW still?
yes.
I'm gonna go Lance Archer.
Not a bad guess,
No?
but it's incorrect.
Okay.
Arn Anderson.
Gotcha.
Arn announced on his podcast that May 31st will be the last day of his contract. 2 days from now, as we record. He said he wanted to focus time on spending time with his son, Brock Anderson, who is also working for AEW, but stopped being used after last fall, which I think is also indicative of,
right.
There's been a lot of this going on. There's been a lot of, hey, I'm out in the dating world. There's a lot of ghosting everywhere. And
they were at literally Monday Night Raw. They were at the Ghost Pirate Stadium. There was ghosts all over that place.
My God.
Those big logos of ghosts.
So Arn is also not going to be renewing. And that's, I think you could argue with a couple of these with, I think Hager's probably, I don't know what he wants to do.
Right.
I think he's still got enough.
He still has career ahead of him.
Yeah. If he wants to do something, he's open to do it. But when it comes to Arn and Mark Henry, like those are assets. Those are, whether it's as simple as legend deals and merch, right? Like you got that. You've got the knowledge, the experience, Arn with all kinds of producing and putting together matches and all that shit. Mark Henry has countless experience and stories. Like there's just a lot to mine from both these guys. And I would not be surprised in the slightest that we see them in some sort of roles on air, getting a show on fucking .com. If they bump people and put them on there and do a whole new thing.
Right. Any
of these types of things. Like I got to imagine that they're, within the next couple months, they're going to be back at WWE.
I could see somebody like Henry. I don't know what kind of money he makes or what his expectations are, but I could see him going to TNA just because he seems like the sort of person who wants to try a little bit of everything. And I feel like he seems like a reasonable person who's like, oh, I want to try companies. I want to work with different people. It seems like that's kind of his mindset. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, oh yeah, he's going to go do some work in TNA, not as an in-ring competitor, but like you said, on-screen talent in some capacity, whether it's, announcing or a commissioner kind of
role. Just probably depends on who's there or like whoever he knows and trusts and goes like, don't show up here, dude.
Right. That too.
Or a 1-year contract. Come in, say hi, and then get out.
Yeah. I don't know enough about sort of the inner workings of behind the scenes of like producers and people that work with talent coaches and trainers and stuff in WWE. Like Arn just seems to me like one of those guys where it's like, get him down to the performance center. Like of all the people still alive with like wrestling knowledge to pass on to the next generation, Arn Anderson is on like the fucking shortest of short lists. Like get him to the performance center, just let him work with everybody. Like that seems to be like makes the most sense for WWE in my opinion. But I don't know enough.
And for documentary sakes, I know him and Flair are on the outs, so that's
great.
That's
Get him in WWE.
Problems then. For that stuff, but I think there's still plenty of things to get out of him when it comes to telling stories of old and and just sharing knowledge. And Triple H loves that dude. Like they're all together. And, Cody did an interview recently where he was saying that from that segment with Logan Paul, those on SmackDown, where Logan Paul has like a bunch of people in his entourage, right? And a lawyer character and this, that, and the other. And he says he misses having an old school manager and talks about that it was great having Arn around. Whether or not that's going to come to fruition, that they want to repeat that act and do that again. But I can certainly see if, we've heard over the years that like Arn Anderson was the guy that put together John Cena matches. Pat Patterson was the guy to put together like Hogan matches and other people like in different eras.
Yeah, like each character had their own producer essentially.
Does Cody have a set guy yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he gonna say like Arn's my guy? Please bring him in. He works so close with my dad. Like,
yeah, but it's
you got to do this. Like,
he's gonna be like QT Marshall. I'm telling you, he's the future of the business.
So we got a couple of people like this, like Ricky Starks. When his contract expires, MJF. Like, are there going to be Cody pulls since he's the guy? Is he going to have a couple of people that he's not pulling?
Not MJF.
He's not being a big shot, right? Like he's not pulling in all his favorite people. He's going like, I need my support system.
Right.
Could be.
Yeah. Essentially.
So it's also strange that since Tony throws around as much money as he does, Tony Khan and AEW, certainly fucking weird right now that there's a lot of these people that don't want to stay no matter how good the money is.
It's telling.
We certainly don't know because we're not backstage, but we've heard plenty of stories.
We're also hearing
they're not staying.
But we're also hearing people say that they're there having the best, like Edge, having the most fun I've ever had in my career. In fairness, that's easy to say when you've already had the career that Edge has had. When you're trying,
and your best friend is there.
When you're trying to climb, it's a different story. Or when you're at a point in your career where maybe you're just like you're not sure what the future holds, or yeah,
and you're going, oh yeah, I had more TV time, but then a guy who's had the best career ever, then who is having more career, took all my TV time.
Right, that too.
So it's just we're seeing a swing from the older guys now, and we're gonna keep seeing what's gonna happen because we had Ethan Page jumping ship, and who knows? Because it certainly went the other way. Where a while back people left WWE to go to AEW.
I just want to say really quickly, Josh Alexander was the name I couldn't come up with previously. His former tag team partner in the North was their tag team name.
Okay,
and it was a J name and then Alexander, so I wasn't that far off. I know I forget everything.
He wasn't on the show, was he?
Yeah, Josh Alexander's been a guest on the podcast before.
Really?
Yes. I'm pretty sure.
I wasn't there.
You know what? It might have been a Johnny interview, potentially. I just remember producing the episode call in. I think it was a call in, not a realize. I think he called in.
He could hear with that fucking headgear on his head?
Or he was he came to the Dragon's Den. Never mind. He came to the Dragon's Den. I'm pretty sure we have photos. Yeah, I don't know.
I was not there.
Yeah, it's all a blur. I don't know.
Chavo Guerrero. That's what you're thinking of.
Chavo Guerrero.
So it's curious. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. We're going to keep an eye out on who's showing up where. And ultimately, I'm not saying like I want everyone to leave and go to one company. It's nice that if it sucks for somebody and they don't want to be there, get out.
Right.
Go somewhere else. And it doesn't just have to be AEW and WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, select a license over at TNA.
A license.
A fishing license.
Well, we speculated on the behind the scenes talent, like but like let's talk really quickly about Hagar Swagger. I know that you said you're not quite sure where he's doing, but let's say he wants to stay pro wrestling and he wants to be somewhere. What do you do with him? Or do you have something that you think would help him?
I figure a guy like that seems like a good fit for a little bit in some like New Japan.
Yeah.
Right? Blonde haired, big,
all American,
tough guy who's got some MMA credibility to him. And they seem to like that stature of guy, like a Lance Archer. Like, he's giant enough that maybe it works out there. I don't know. The travel's also, if you love it or you hate it, who knows? So I think that's worth a shot. But then beyond that, I don't know.
I think
TNA and him and a Moose, or I don't know if that really is.
I mean, I think that
NWA
going back to WWE, I think there's a lot of people who he hasn't gotten the opportunity to work with that have been like old NXT Performance Center people who were who he was gone by the time they were up. That kind of fulfilled that role that he was. I mean, like the collegiate, like a Chad Gable and the Otis of the worlds, like the Alpha Academy. Like,
Yeah.
I think there are like, there's people that are kind of in that space that he was in that I think he could work well with if he is the veteran. You know what I mean? Like if it's presented as the like, hey, I did this once before, and it could be a completely new experience for him. And I also think that I think his style of wrestling, I think, worked in WWE when it was a little bit more controlled. Because I don't think he was a bad wrestler. I never thought he was a bad wrestler at all. But I do think that there is...
he wasn't an overly entertaining character type, but when he was world champ, and he certainly had his moments where you watched and you took him seriously, and it's certainly in presentation how you book it, and he's been Jericho's lackey for a long time, and at first that worked, and then it became a joke.
Right.
So if he is, like you said, and there's different guys now, right? Like him versus Gunther. Could be really incredible. Totally. Him versus a Sheamus now.
Drew.
Where Sheamus is so comfortable in the ring.
Yeah, I was going to say Drew as well. That's a new version, People who I'm sure that they've faced. I'm sure there's a Jack Swagger versus, Drew McIntyre match from 10 years ago, but
it's totally different with the styles and the comfortability now. Yep. And yeah, there could be some interesting stuff there, and they probably could get some mileage out of him being like, hey, former world champ, he's back.
Right. Yeah. Just keep him away from the AEW, keep him away from Cody for a while. Like, don't do AEW stuff. Don't, I also say, and this might be unpopular opinion, but I also say definitely go back to Jack Swagger. Don't keep Jake Hagar, because that is a thing that I feel like Sean Spears is still now, Sean Spears and not Ty Dillinger as he, so I feel like they might.
Well, if that's his real name and he's got fighter credits.
Oh, right? You know what? You're right. Never mind. Outside of WWE, like actual, Bellator stuff, I could see that being valuable. Although
birth name Donald Jacob Hagar Jr. Wow, Jesus.
Wait a minute though. So just call him Don Jr.
Oh,
wait, but I have a question. Does Bellator and UFC, do they have like a professional heat? Yeah. Because is there any way that UFC's parent company in TKO with WWE would be like, no, we don't want, he's a Bellator guy?
I don't know how it ended with Bellator, but Bellator and UFC did not coexist. At all. But you bring up that point. Maybe it's Team TKO and he's going, hey, can I get a couple of UFC fights? And he wants to go into that. And then if that fizzles out, or that's a couple of years, and he goes, if that doesn't work out, I'll just go right back to WWE. And then I'm under the same umbrella and it's all good.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's got, let me see. I'm trying to look at his fight record here. 4 matches, 3 wins, and 1 no contest. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean,
yeah, and it was a split decision on the no contest.
What if they pull a
the no contest was, that's right. It was a bunch of groin strikes.
A bunch of? The use of a bunch
of? Well, because it's like he hits him once and it's like, hey, time, don't do that again. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 total, but it's after a few times, it's like, hey, dude, fucking fight's over.
Meanwhile, Hager's just like, he's got his trunks hiked up under his armpit. I'm just hitting him in the belly.
There's a bullseye. He's got a bullseye on him.
Okay, I have a pitch for WWE for him though. Okay.
Man, you are all kinds of hung up on Hager.
You announce the return of Brock Lesnar, and then you pull a Razor Ramon and Diesel, and you just have Jake Hager come out with a drawn on, Dick Sword tattoo, and he just does Brock Lesnar's entrance, and he does like a F5, and then we just
do that. You can just say Brock is coming.
Just see who notices.
We say Brock is coming. Right. Brock is coming back. Brock will be here again, and then you bring up Brock Anderson.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then Arn Anderson with a gun.
You fucking cat. He's gonna pop a fool.
That's right.
All right. Well, is that it? Or is there anybody else's contracts fucking up?
That's all I know of at this moment. So there could be 19 more happening right now.
That reminds me, you still have to sign that thing I emailed you. I haven't gotten that back yet, and I'm a little worried.
What's that?
For next week, preferably. Well, Scott, we should probably take a hotline call or two. But before we get out of here, we must once again acknowledge the current PWP World Champ, Gilbert Short, aka Goliathon. Thanks to everybody who continues to show support of the show through Patreon. If you'd like to be able to watch these episodes in video form, unedited, because they are unedited in the video form, we don't go into the YouTube afterwards. So you're getting the raw, uncut Palskis in the video versions. So if you'd like access to that, as well as the entire catalog of Watch Along Wednesdays and other patron exclusive series, please consider becoming a patron, joining the PW Palskis Patreon. Great way to support the show, help us keep the lights on, and you get a ton of great stuff. It is, there's more stuff on there than there is in the TNA Plus. So please consider heading on over to patreon.com/PW Palskis. Thank you for joining us live stream. We're going to go take some hotline calls. Scott, say goodbye to the live stream.
Bye to the live stream.
747-666-5606. That's the number of the Pro Wrestling Palskis hotline, or you can send a voice memo to hotline@pwpalskis.com. That's hotline@pwpalskis.com, and we'll play it right here on the program. Scott, I have a very important question for you.
Yeah.
Would you like to see what the hotline has in store for us today?
Only if Jake Hagar called.
Hey, what's up, fellas? This is Remo V from the 303, Mr. Vicious, Remo Vinci, calling again. I just wanted to wish you guys a happy 10th anniversary. I've been listening for a long time, like y'all know, since the AfterBuzz days. Johnny and Dale sucked me in and checked it out. Here we still are. So I just want to let y'all know I appreciate y'all. Thank you for letting me also be a part of your show off and on, whether it was doing the intros or just calling to chat about some shit or whatever. I think it's pretty awesome that you keep doing this throughout all the iterations of it. I feel like y'all have always been able to kind of pick it up and just kind of do what needs to be done for your listeners and for the pod itself. And I think you guys have always done a great job with all of it. So I appreciate everything that you guys do, all the sacrifices that are made. I do miss Dale and Johnny. It'd be cool to have them do a run-in every now and then, Miss those two. And, I'm still riding with y'all. I know there's a lot of us that are still fucking with y'all. So keep it up. And congratulations on the 3 years of the Palskis, and congratulations on 10 years altogether. It's pretty badass. Big ups, y'all. Peace.
Remo V, calling with the anniversary well wishes. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of the history of the program, for sticking with us.
Yeah, agreed. It's nice to hear the longevity, right? That someone's listened and still been around, and because it's a weird disconnected feeling when you're doing a podcast.
Very.
Right. There's certain things that you do in entertainment and theater and stuff on stage is great because it's instant gratification. Someone showed up, know that they didn't leave and they're there, and then you do a podcast and you go, what happened?
Right.
Did they leave? Did they listen? Did they listen to 4 seconds? Did they listen? Are they hate listening? Like what happened?
I hope so. I want to encourage more hate listening of our program.
Oh, you do? Well, okay. Then we'll go back to AEW versus NXT.
No, I said listening. It still had the word listening on there. Thanks again. We really appreciate it. Hopefully nobody else has left us a kind message.
Hey, Jake. Hey, Scott. This is Gilbert, a.k.a. Goliathon, a.k.a. Batal Andaluz, a.k.a. the current PWP World Champion, with a just want to give you congratulations for the 10 years. I didn't make it with a message on the episode because I was working, so I do apologize about that, but still congratulations. Here's to 10 more years. Here's to 100 more years if you guys are still into wrestling. If wrestling is still watchable then. But I just want to say that I've been listening off and on since the show launched because I found Johnny and Dale on AfterBuzz, and I was looking for wrestling podcasts from a fan perspective that weren't really gross. And you guys have carried on that legacy. Johnny and Dale were great. I don't know if they'll be able to hear this, but I just want to say that I've always been a fan of you guys, and I'm an ardent supporter. I try to push you guys as much as I can. But yeah, so congratulations on the 10 years and 3 years respectively, and you guys have a great week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Gilbert
The hell is
Short.
that?
Current
What the hell is
PW
that?
champ. What's the hell's what?
What the hell is this? So you think he can just come in and say nice things and then it's here's an honorary championship extension? No.
Yeah. No. You can't weasel your way into being champion longer.
I suspect that's what's going on.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to talk about this on air. Gilbert, by the way, thank you, Gilbert. You're the best. We appreciate it. Fantastic. But
You're wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. But more important stuff. We have some records. We love stats here on the old PW.
Yeah, vinyl, some LPs, 33s.
The most reigns as PWP champion is Andrea Beeler with 6 reigns. Now, we count reigns as victories. Does that make sense? Like every month. How many months? Yeah, okay, so maybe we shouldn't call them months. Maybe we should call them reigns. We should call them months. How many times did somebody win?
You've calculated all this. I've never had any say in the system or any of this shit.
Well, then look, it's all in our worksheet. There's literally just a page called Championship History. It's all available to you. Gilbert Short is a 5-time champion. So if Gilbert wins next months, they will both have won it 6 times.
Okay.
I'll go fuck myself then. Sorry, I thought that was interesting.
I thought there was you set it up like, and then
no, that was
we're gonna have or they'll do or I was waiting for the rest because you built, and then this.
All right, let's see. Let me see if I'm right about
so something like this.
Andrew Beeler, November 21, January 22.
The years or the days?
Those are the years. January 23, February 23, April 23, and March 24. I'm counting. So yes, so she has 6 victories. If technically we're counting the January and February of 2023 as one reign, then technically she only has 5 reigns. But considering, not everybody who wins the title even defends it because they might not be championship Palskis by the time the thing comes around anymore.
Yeah. Well, the longest reign is how long you've held it.
That's longest title reign. Yes. She's the longest reign of anybody is Andrew Beeler as 2 months. Nobody's won it twice like that.
Well, that's what that classification is.
Sure.
So
but I'm talking about
most winningest champion.
Most winningest champion. So maybe we shouldn't call the category most title reigns on our championship history screen that
because it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it should say most winning most victories, most championship victories. I'll change it to most championship victories. Let me leave a note right now. Most
championships.
Well, no, because then that's your same argument. It's still the same championship, right? All right, there we go. Or months as champion. Most months as champion. How about we do that?
Jesus Christ. It's usually what you people miss before we record anything.
All right. Well, I think 10 years and 1 episode is a good enough time to call it. So, Scott Narver, speaking of patrons, we need to thank all of our current Patreon Palskis.
Well, we got a new one this week, so we're going to get to them at the end. I'll announce them last. But thank you to all of our Patreon Palskis, the only place where we give out retribution names as well as maximum male model names. Why? Because we can't figure out what to call all our championship reigns when it comes to the PWP championship. So thank you to AJ0314, aka Binary, aka Matrice69, Alex Pierce, aka Figs, aka Zitoys, Andrea Beeler, aka Pollen Hate, aka Achu Detest, Curtis Mason, aka Hurtis, aka Auche, Gilbert Short, aka Goliathon, aka Batal Underoos, aka the current PWP champ, Mass Llama, aka Spitz, aka Jakara Lover, Michael Beltran, aka Limestone, aka La Natural, Miguel Diaz, aka Bipod, aka Too Much Husk, Mike Lucas, aka Hackensack, aka Luge Testicle, Suicide, aka AKA Tim Bemis, aka War Trek, aka Tussle Quest, Tim Redbeard, aka Blood Fuzz, aka Blue Devuse, Tom Hader, aka Cupid, aka Cherub, and Tony Griggs, aka Big Griggs, aka Grand Grisois, and our newest Patreon Palski, Shay to Slay.
Shay to Slay. This is one of those instances where they already have one of our gimmick names, because that is essentially a maximum male model name as far as I'm concerned.
And damn near a retribution name. Like they've covered both. I think people they don't want it. They don't want us to bestow the names. So
well,
they might be,
this is how you
might be killing it.
This is how you get an AKA. Okay. Well, thank you to each and every one of you.
Soon it's going to be like AKA Jim.
Exactly.
We're going to give you a normal name.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of the program. We do appreciate it. We're happy to see a new name pop up there. We know our patronage is small but mighty, and it's a really fun community. I'm not sure who the new patron is. I hope that you get in Discord. If it's somebody that we know, but it's just a different name. Sometimes that happens where it's somebody who's been in the Discord a while, but they use a slightly different name, so we don't realize that they're the same person.
Some sneaky fuck.
Yeah, some sneaky fuck. Thanks to you. Thanks to everybody. Once again, the Discord is completely free. It has nothing to do with the Patreon. Anybody can go join that and be a part of the conversation there. Hang out for pay-per-views and for episodes of TV. You can find the link to that Discord at pwpalskis.com. There you can also find a link to the shop where we have fantastic merchandise that really does truly help the show immensely. Please consider buying yourself a shirt, buy yourself a hoodie. We have fantastic pullover hoodies, really comfortable hooded sweatshirts that are really nice. We've got hats of a bunch of different styles and varieties, whether you like a flat brim or you like a nice curved style like I've got here. We've got phone cases. We've got, all sorts of good stuff there and a bunch of different designs. So, if you're the sort of person who likes a more subversive logo where people don't necessarily know exactly what it is, there's stuff like that. If you like stuff that's right on the nose and you want a Hey Oats with Scott Hall, like that's there too. So much stuff there over on the shop.
Well, also, and like you said, like if you like all the different styles, don't just get one phone case. You're going to want to change it up every day with a different phone case.
Every
day? So buy multiple phone cases.
Wow.
Switch it out. 7
phone cases, one for each day.
How many are available of our show?
Of our specific program, I want to say maybe 3.
You got to buy at least 3.
But, there's also Dragon Wagon Radio logos, and that's part of our program.
Sure.
So yes, that's all the business. You guys know the rest. Find us on all the socials. I'm at Jake Lloyd Bacon. He's at Scott Narver. We're at PW Palskis. Anything to add? Oh yeah, sorry. Let me do this. Sorry, we missed our regularly scheduled program last week. This week, I guess we missed our Sunday recording. For those patrons who maybe were hoping to tune in, I apologize. Life stuff happened. We're unable to get it done. We got it done a little late this week, so this one's going up at an odd time for those listeners in the pod feed. We will have something in the pod feed next Tuesday as scheduled. What kind of show it is, we're not sure at the moment, but something will be there. I know we got some hotline calls, maybe a couple of things that maybe we can squeeze in, even if we don't have an entire session ahead of us. But just want to let you guys know. Sorry. But we're giving you all the goods best we can. And next week, we will announce the new PWP champion, assuming there is a new one. And so, yeah, there you have it. That's the program.
We're announcing the champion for June 2024.
Yeah,
see,
buddy.
I did that? I said the 20 beforehand, so people didn't wonder what the fuck I was talking about.
I was reading, and that's how it's written in the sheet. Okay?
Written?
Oh, my God.
Or written?
It was so unfun hanging out with you, Scott, but it was always a blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Be more Hagar, be less swagger.
That's not going to catch on. That's terrible. Be more? It should be have more.
Have more.
You have swagger. You don't be swagger.
Yeah. Have you seen him? You be swagger.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, bye, everybody.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on Coycast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on Coycast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.